I lie prone on a sloping rooftop at dawn, rifle ready. My heartbeat thumps like a drum, but I work to steady my breathing. I remember one rule from sniper school: ballistics matters. The bullet won't fly straight. Gravity drags it down the instant it leaves the barrel. Even a slight breeze can push that bullet off course. I picture the Savage Arms guide I read. Even a gentle crosswind can push a bullet several inches, or even feet, off target at long range. It's true. At 500 yards, a 10 miles per hour side wind could deflect my shot by about a foot. Every tiny error in hold or misjudgment of drop at this distance means a miss. Before I pull the trigger, my mind is a calculator. I plan to hold the reticle above the target for drop and press the scope's turret to compensate. One of the field manuals says that at 500 or 1,000 yards, even a small miscalculation in bullet drop can result in a complete miss. So I do the math. Every inch counts. Slow, silent, precise. These are my watchwords as I inch closer to my firing position. Army sniper training taught me the golden rules. Assume someone is always watching you, move inch by inch, and stop to look and listen often. I slip into my ghillie suit, a tangled cloak of burlap and local foliage that breaks up my outline. Ghillie suits were first used by Scottish gamekeepers to hide from poachers, and we snipers adopted the idea to vanish into nature. Even with camouflage, I know cover beats concealment. I stay behind walls and trenches that stop bullets rather than just shadows. No bare ground, no exposed limbs. Even in the pre-dawn quiet, I won't risk a clump of brush betraying my position. Every move is deliberate and whispered. I crawl into a slight depression that overlooks a wide field of view. In training, we learned a sniper should never move through open ground if avoidable. So I hug a tree trunk and coordinate with my spotter on the radio in hushed code. My rifle is the U.S. Army's M24 sniper weapon system, a Remington 700 action built on a sturdy composite stock. It's chambered in 7.62 by 51 NATO, .308 Win, and fitted with a Leupold 10 by 42 scope and mil-dot reticle. The rifle weighs about 12 pounds and sits on an adjustable bipod. I know this weapon's effective range is about 800 meters, 875 yards. Those skilled snipers have stretched it much farther under ideal conditions. Right now my target is roughly 700 yards away, which means the bullet's flight time will be nearly a second. I quietly remind myself, a 175 grain match bullet, M118LR, will leave the muzzle at roughly 800 meters per second. At that speed it covers 800 m in about 1 second, giving the crosswind and gravity plenty of time to act. Our spotter double-checked the distance with a laser rangefinder and read the wind flags for me. I've got the drop chart memorized. At 700 yards, this load drops around a couple of feet, so I'll hold my aim up appropriately. It's not guesswork. The data's on my dope card, data on previous engagements, which I rely on to dial in elevation and windage. Through the scope's crosshairs, I see movement downrange. An elderly lady is walking along the target area. I adjust the parallax and focus for a razor-sharp view. The mil-dot reticle frames her figure. She's maybe 5 feet 4 inches tall, about 1.6 m. I click the range adjust knob. 1 click per 100 yards. I set the turret for 7 clicks, for 700 yards. The shot is ready to go. I've had her in sight for a minute. I breathe in, breathe out. Suddenly I sense something odd. In the still air I hear a faint hum. Not wind noise, a song, very faint but familiar. My eyes narrow on the target. The figure raises her right hand, as if shielding eyes from the sun. The voice grows clearer. She's humming the same lullaby my grandma used to sing. My finger hovers on the trigger, but freezes. My heart starts thumping erratically. I swallow hard. The mil-dot captures her face, round, gentle, with silver hair tied in a neat bun. My breath catches. The lady in my scope looks so familiar. Suddenly I recognize the floral apron, the way she walks with a slight stoop. It hits me like a punch in the gut. I'm looking at my grandmother. The scope frame blurs as my eye jerks back. No, it can't be. My voice cracks, though I'm alone. Gran? The radio crackles. I whisper, abort. But duty fights delay. My spotter's calm voice replies, stay on target, we've got orders. My gaze snaps back to the scope. The woman is still there, shuffling slowly between tomato plants in a small backyard garden. She hums the lullaby louder now. She is my grandma, the same one who taught me to tie my shoes, the one who knitted my first scarf. In training we learned to detach when shooting, to turn off emotion like a switch. But this is impossible. I stare through the milldots as tears blur the glass. For a moment the world inside the scope is upside down. The mission I was about to execute is monstrous. I recall something I read. Veterans who kill often suffer lasting psychological scars, guilt, shame, and isolation. They say moral injury cuts deep. I am about to cause myself the worst moral injury imaginable. The little voice of my schooling, service before self, dissolves in shock. This woman is innocent, loving. Her only weapons are cookies and sympathy. You can't shoot someone who used to lull you to sleep. My grandmother would fold me in her shawl and scold me for skipping supper, not direct a crossbow. She believed in kindness and second chances. She's the opposite of a target. My finger slides off the trigger. I gently lower the rifle, which felt like an extension of my arm, now heavy with horror. The garden is silent except for that lullaby. Time freezes as I realize I have a choice. Kill my grandma and live with the pain forever, or break the code and maybe lose everything else. Years of training can't justify this shot. Do I even have the right? No legal or moral handbook covers this. Assassins are not taught how to target their own family. My spotter senses something is wrong. "Are you seeing this?" he whispers. I give no answer. Instead, I slip out of the ghillie suit quietly and step down from my nest. My legs feel rubbery as I walk toward the garden. The back gate is slightly ajar. I'm ready to face the consequences of defying an order, but nothing is worse than pulling that trigger. As I get within 30 yards, I realize she hasn't spotted me. Her back is still turned. I clear my throat. She jumps, spilling a basket of cherry tomatoes onto the grass. "Oh, Peter," she murmurs, looking around. Seeing me in camo and carrying a rifle, her eyes widen. "My stars, is that you under all that burlap?" Her tone is gentle curiosity, not fear. I step out from behind the wall, helmet off, hands raised in peace. "Gran, I thought you were someone else." The words come out ragged. She folds the apron around her elbows and pushes out her palms. "Someone I should know," she asks softly. I smile sadly. "Someone I love, who I'm sorry to have put in danger." Her face crinkles in concern. "Honey, what are you talking about?" There's a strange moment of silence. I remember the news. Some gang boss put a contract on an unnamed enemy in this neighborhood. It was my job to take that shot. But there's nothing to shoot here. Nothing but my own grandmother watering her begonias. My finger shakes as I secure the safety and hand her the gun. I must have mixed up the target," I stammer. She laughs, a sweet, gentle sound. "You look as guilty as a cat caught with a mouse. You're too clean to be up to no good, dear." My throat tightens. I kneel to pick up the spilled tomatoes. "Need some help with those, Gran?" I offer. She nods, and we spend a few quiet minutes gathering them up together. I half expect sirens or other snipers descending on us, but nothing comes. It's just her humming again, continuing the melody where she left off. The absurdity hits me, and I chuckle. "Got any of those cookies you bake?" I say with a shaky smile. She beams, forgetting her minor scare. "Just got them out of the oven. Take this rifle off your shoulder, sweetheart, and come inside. You know you don't need all that racket around here." As we walk toward her house, the gun slung awkwardly over my back, I realize something important. The only target in my sight that mattered today was love. I promised myself to become a different kind of man than the one who became a killer. In that decision, science and skill took a back seat to something more powerful. Killing a grandmother would inflict a scar deeper than any bullet wound. So I turned and ran away from that shot. Inside her kitchen, the warm smell of baking chocolate chips and cinnamon is everywhere. I sit at the table and unwrap a warm cookie, crumbs on my lips. The rifle leans against the wall, forgotten for now. My grandma pats my hand. "Hungry?" she asks. "Always." I grin. I tell her about work in vague terms. I certainly can't explain. She nods and pours tea into a mug. In that moment, I know I'll never pick up that rifle again. Not like this. Outside, the dawn sun finally breaks over the horizon. I imagine going back to my old life of secrets and danger, but it feels wrong now. Instead, I decide to say goodbye to it for good. Grandma pulls out a chair for me. I'm alive, unharmed, and strangely happy. Tomorrow I'll find a new path, one where I don't have to cry over the crosshairs. As for today, I'll just finish this cookie, cup of tea in hand, and be grateful for a second chance.